It's a world YouTube tab site here with another unsolved Worscter. I say that channel is doing pretty good for itself. It's obviously came out with some good articles and cases, and so far, you have a bunch of murders, of course, with no suspects. But what do you do when you have a murder and they go off to try and blame somebody, but there's no way of doing it because it's just bizarre in its own way. I don't know, this case is probably the most strangest out of the unsolved Worscter cases that I've been through. And I mean, the only reason why I say that is because, well, for one, this man, which his name is Roland J. Clarkson, 49, was badly beaten and supposedly mutilated. But I mean, the only thing that was pretty much mutilated was his head. He was a homeless man, and I guess Worscter was a huge place. Even now, today, you see a lot of homeless people out there, but I could say the homeless camps back then and now, it's like, it's insane. I mean, in this place where this guy slept and a lot of other people slept, I mean, and they called it the Weeds. And I'm actually going to try and see what I can do to get to this place of New Salem Street, because there was a gully where he was found. And the strange thing about it makes this, this case just even more bizarre, is that there was a 2 foot by a foot cement, 30 pound, I don't know how he did say 2 feet. And it was like 30-pound cement block that was found near this man's head. And I'm taking it this was what the murder weapon was, because of course they said his skull was fractured. And I mean, and to say that this this weapon, this concrete block, was the murder weapon, Like I say, you got a 30-pound friggin' weight on it. They literally said that there was 2 girls that in July of 73 caused the fire. Injured, 3 people were missing. But they claim 10 people dead, 19 injured. I found the article and everything. But chief of police for some reason, and what is real bizarre about this, I know I could have sworn I had to go back twice or 3 times to listen to this, just for the simple fact of how this guy put it in platform for the on how this murder went down. Now you got 2 teenage girls, they supposedly say, that caused this fire, but later on it says in this article or this video that one of the girls was in the Worcester State Hospital, meaning the obviously the mental institution, probably up there on Plantation Street there, the Hill, the Worcester Asylum. And they say one of the girls, when the fire took place, come to find out she was in that facility. And if you got two teenage girls, obviously, committing murders, I mean, yeah, it could be the possibility of them maybe dropping this big, huge rock on this, a piece of concrete on this Roland's head. But when the narrator of this was talking about how, these two girls could have, why the chief of police was stating that they murdered him, is because they were talking about the murder. But literally, he said something about they were in July talking about this murder. It is, like I said, I had to go back twice just to catch this and make sense of it. But of course, there's no suspects that ever been labeled. The girls were never labeled as the murderers. They were dismissed on the fire, I guess. But I went to look up this fire, and even though, I did find the article, it didn't mention nothing about no teenage girls in the fire. And of course, it came from the New York Times. So, but then again, like I say, one of them was acquitted because they were in a state mental institution in Worcester. So with that being said, and here we go with the word tenement. Tenement is that building in Fitchburg I speak of, which I think might have been, someone had clarified to me that it could have been that back in the day, but it did look like, my wife did know of someone that lived in that building. I speak up of, just it gives me an eerie, bizarre feeling, but them tenement buildings and could have housed a lot of homeless people. And I do believe in the article that I found did name off a bunch of people. 3 people were missing. A bunch of firefighters, or 4 firefighters got injured because a wall collapsed in that building. So the matter of the fact of how they put this all together and accuse these girls of setting this fire, but they didn't. Clearly didn't. The other girl, they don't have no information of where she was. But as they're going on claiming 2 girls did this, but one was in a mental institution, where was the other one? And if the other one did happen to maybe start it, it don't clarify that either. So, this is just, it's a bizarre case, let alone trying to figure out who murdered this guy. But then again, the guy was homeless, and this place I'm going to try and get to was a homeless camp at one point in time, and the area it was in, they literally called it Skid Row of Worcester. That tells you anything. So that being said, and dating back to the 70s, it's about a wonder if there was a friggin', they was blaming all these young teenage kids of that time, attacking homeless people a lot due to the fact that, supposedly they're going to say back then that these kids were always picking on the homeless because they were vulnerable, drunk, and, literally easy target. And this Roland, I guess, the day of his murder, though, he got picked up about 1 p.m. being drunk behind another tenement house or a church type place on High Street in Worcester. And he literally went to jail until 5:15 p.m. and then they released him. So he was sobered up. There was a lot of times, I remember people talking about that back in the day, and as I was a kid, that people would, get intoxicated to go to the local jail and sober up. And not only that, I mean, there's the TV show Andy Griffin. They had a town drunk in that place. And he would always come to sleep off his drunk. But I don't think they don't even do that no more. I mean, of course, there's so much stuff going on in the world right now. You're going to need jails open for serious crimes. But, you know, drunken publicness is now not a thing no more. But whoever murdered this guy literally had to have picked up that big boulder. But it don't even say that if the friggin' boulder had blood on it. So I mean to say even if the guy tripped and fell on it and smashed his head, you know, got up drunk even more. But supposedly when he left the jail, he was, you know, more sobered up than what he was earlier that day. And I mean, that's something I wanted to... You know, that's the thing with this unsolved Worcester. I mean, it gets the information, but like I say, it only gets what it reads from the reports, what they're more or less allowed to give out, like the police do. They don't give out anything that would incriminate or destroy evidence, like they say these days, and maybe that's the case for this one too, but you know, just a mere thought. And I wasn't even thinking that when I was watching it, because I was trying to, you know, get the story in and figure out, you know, what the hell has this got to do with that? And not only that, the chief of police or whatever, the lead detective at the time, and it said it in the video that they stated that this guy, Roland, literally, right, nobody murdered him. He died on his own Clarkson. But it gets even better. Because when the guy was, you know, they're blaming him. It's his fault, Roland's fault for dying, because he was a drunk. But tell me why this man would take his fucking pants off and have just a t-shirt and an undershirt on and be found, unless if them two girls or one girl that could have maybe murdered him, pulled his pants off, maybe they sexually assaulted the man. Or maybe someone sexually assaulted him, period. That's why his pants were off. So they, you know what, that's the thing. You know, men can get raped too. So have another Jeffrey Dahmer, gay man, you know, going around raping men. So with that being said, how did that know that this man didn't get sexually assaulted, and didn't check for semen and stuff? So I mean, there's another question, like the rock. Was there blood on the rock? Because if someone crushed his skull, I'm for damn sure there's blood splatter. I mean, a lot of questions. And, I mean, he, after all this was said and done about him and the, the cops saying, oh, he pretty much saying that he himself, Roland, was the cause of his own death. That's what I got out of it. Check it out yourself. But they go into the two girls and they were going to indict them, them for murdering him, but all they say is about the fire, and the fire was done by them, and they tried to get him for that, but one was in the mental institution, and then they don't say nothing more if they killed him, or how they figured it out. There was no comment. So that was just thrown out, pretty much left in the air, huh? So with all that being said, and it all ended after that. And the last 3 episodes I have watched on this Unsolved Worcester is just literally just leaving everybody to be watching this baffled. I mean, I didn't read this yet, but this is the article of the 2 girls. And like I say, I can't find that address on this building. The only thing that comes up is, God rest their souls, the 6 meaning the 6 firefighters that lost their lives due to squatters setting a fire in a building back in '99. And yeah, that was a bad loss there. And it sucks because if the neighbor didn't come out and tell them about the squatters, or let alone should have just said, hey, leave them in there. They started the fire. I mean, the firefighters went in there to search for them. So, doing their job, but them idiots, they didn't even got no jail time for that either. Neither did, I don't know, the owner of the building got sued, of course, because he didn't keep the squatters out or try to. But the 2 people didn't get no charges. I mean, that's kind of friggin' BS. But people got paid money and sued for the, unlawful burning of their people. So, friggin' wow. And, but all in all, I've been trying to look up this building that these 2 girls set, because I wanted to see a little bit more on this and what address it was. But like I said, don't say nothing about them. And at the time, you would have think that would have what it said, because the article I found from the New York Times does say, Worcester fire and, 19 people injured, 7 killed and 3 missing. So, but it doesn't say if it was arson or anything like that. It just and then it said, of course, about the 4 firefighters injured because of the walls collapsing. But don't say nothing about who started it, or the police had their suspects, but it wasn't them. But I wanted to see where this place was, and of course where this murder took place. I'm gonna check that spot out too. Maybe I can get something from beyond the grave on that, because I mean, whatever the case may be, let alone if this guy had maybe had one person that didn't like him. Hey, you get drunk. A lot of people get drunk. A lot of people sometimes don't remember nothing. And the way this guy had to get picked up and sleep it off at the jail, I mean, let alone if it was being just a plain out robbery, or, someone or a serial killer going around maybe scoping up women, but come across a bum and just said, hey, I'll take you too. Poof. There's a lot of things out there that, to me, overlooked, especially if that guy could have been raped. Hey, you remember Jeffrey Dahmer, like I said, he was a gay man, always after men. You got the John Wayne Gacy, gay man, raping boys. So could have Worcester had a woman serial killer, rapist, let alone that, or even a man killer rapist. Friggin' nuts. But them are the 2 questions I would like to know. Did that rock have blood on it, let alone fingerprints? And that's another thing that wasn't checked on that rock. Fingerprints. Go figure. But all in all, and I didn't even say if the man's pants were found by him, let alone he was just naked, waist down. It's like, what the So all in all, people, I don't know. I found this maybe one of the strangest cases, let alone that lady found in the woods with a piece of cardboard over her. But this is more bizarre, because it's got the 2 girls, but the 2 girls ain't nothing. And then they go on to say about the 2 girls, but let alone there they are. And it's just, oh man, it's mind-boggling. If you want to check out the fill-up episode, check it out. All I know is Worcester, man, I will never look at it the same. It's insane out there. But I am going to try and get to this place, ghost hunt. See if we can get a spirit. Because even if I don't get this guy, just to think how many other people over there were murdered. Because there was a lot of bums, or, you know, say so, hobos that slept over there. Homeless people. And yeah, sad situation. And this guy supposedly was a nice guy, so he was just a drunk, wanted to get drunk, so. But you never know, sometimes people have a dark side that could form up later on, like me. I was once a happy drunk, and then I turned into a violent drunk, and then I turned into a almost killing myself drunk, so stages take place and things happen. So who knows who he could have pissed off, or someone just didn't like him randomly, so. Questions are out there, folks. What do you think? Till the next video, be safe, take care, and if you're out in Worcester, beware. There's a lot more stuff out there going on that we even know about. That's right. Out.